Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Welcome
Shalom.
to the temple and for joining us on the live stream. So please, you could spend your Shabbat with us this evening. Our services this evening will be led from Mishkan Tefillah for Shabbat, the smaller volume of the New Prayer Book of Reform Judaism. I suppose I have to stop, calling it new. It was published in 2009, but it's new to me still. If you have a copy, you can follow along. If you figured out that we have to bring our own copies into the sanctuary, one step towards a more normal existence here at Temple. And if you don't have a copy, you can find a digital flipbook version in the YouTube description on our channel. Our opening song is Ma Yafeh Hayom, How Beautiful Is This Day, Shabbat Shalom. Kiddush. If the congregation would turn to page 2 and 3, and please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
We turn now to page 5, the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Please be seated. And we share a special prayer for healing. We are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us even when we're hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us even when we're too proud for the soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us even when we're too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us even when we're too weak for the meeting. We are loved by an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms and the fingers and the voices. Ours are the hands and the eyes and the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. We continue now with Lecha Dodi, which can be found on page 20.
Lecha Dodi, likrot kala, b'ni Shabbat, nikabla,
28 for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. I know that the tide is not an independent force, but merely the submission of the water to the movement of the moon and its orbit. And this orbit in its turn is subject to other orbits which are far mightier than it. And so the whole universe is held fast in the clinging grip of strong hands. The forces of earth and sun, planets and comets, galaxies, blindly erupting forces, ceaselessly stirring in ripples of silence to the very depths of black space. Page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be truer a token of your abiding love than the holiest of your works, the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. Join me in the Ve'ahavta on page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, u'chol nafshecha, u'chol mo'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam. V'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, uv'shoflecha uv'umecha. Ukshartam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beininecha. Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha. Lama'an tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Page 41. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, and earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi kamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefelen, osefelen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadow of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth, prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Yismechus on page 44.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי שבת. Oneg Shabbat, Yismichu b'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'koreh Oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi Ratzita bo ki k'dash bo Shabbat. Chimnot yomim oto karata Shabbat. Yismichu b'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'koreh Oneg Shabbat. Yismichu b'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'koreh Oneg Shabbat.
Zecher L'maaseh v'reishit Shabbat. Zecher L'maaseh v'reishit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'koreh Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'koreh Oneg Shabbat.
We invite you to rise from your seats or in your hearts as we begin the tefillah on page 46.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo B'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, God of our fathers and our mothers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel, and God of Leah, the great, mighty, and awesome God, transcendent God, who bestows loving kindness, creates everything out of love, remembers the love of our fathers and mothers, and brings redemption to their children's children for the sake of the divine name. Sovereign, deliverer, helper, and shield. Blessed are you, Adonai, Sarah's helper, Abraham's shield. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah. You are forever mighty, Adonai. You give life to all. You rain dew upon us. You sustain life through love, giving life to all. Through great compassion, supporting the fallen, healing the sick, freeing the captive, keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of mighty act? Who resembles you, a sovereign who takes and gives life, causing deliverance to spring up and faithfully giving life to all? Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. You are holy. Your name is holy. And those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.  'Kadosh. Please be seated.
Adonai,
Please join me as we read together at the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. We turn to our prayer for peace, which can be found at the bottom of page 61. Lo yisagoy el goy charev v'lo yilmedu od milchama. Nation shall not take up sword against nation, they shall never again know war. Don't stop after beating swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first.
Shalom Ra al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Atom Melech Adon Likol HaShalom. Ki Atom Melech Adon Likol HaShalom. Shalom Ra al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael b'kol leit u'b'kol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Ra al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Please take a moment for silent prayer. Turn to page 253 for the words of the Mishaberach, our prayer for hope and for healing, which we offer as a congregation and together as friends. For those who are in need of healing, for those in the hospital and in nursing homes, for those recovering from injury or illness, for all we love and for those who love us and care for us, for our world, that we might find together the opportunity to heal and hope and work together towards the building of a better world. We ask your blessing, and we ask our hands to be part of the building of that blessing together. Please join us in the Misha Berach in the middle of page 253.
for us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
This is one of my favorite children's jokes. So there's these two cookies, and they're sitting in the oven. They're just laying back on the cookie sheet, soaking up the rays. One cookie says to the other, "Hey, it's really getting hot in here." The other cookie goes, "Ah, it's a talking cookie." I really love that joke, because even a child can figure out that it's funny. And what's funny about it is not what the cookie says, but that most people listening to this joke just go along with the completely ridiculous idea that there's a cookie sitting in an oven talking. This is, believe it or not, my commentary on this week's Torah portion, Balak. The great story of the prophet Balaam, who calls himself a seer whose eye is true, but cannot even see the miracle of the talking donkey upon which he rides. This is the story of Balak, the king of Moab, and his ill-fated efforts to bring Balaam, a great seer from a foreign land, to come and curse the children of Israel so that he might wage war upon them. Balak and his allies sent emissaries with gifts in hand to bring Balaam within sight of the Israelite encampment, which stood just on the edge of the border of Moab. Balaam greets them with great honors, but tells them that he can only curse what God will curse and bless what God would bless. He invites them to stay with him for the night. Perhaps God will visit him in a dream and let him know what the future may hold. God speaks to Balaam in that dream and tells him in the clearest of possible terms that he is not to go to Moab, nor should he do Balak's bidding to curse the children of Israel, for in God's eyes they are blessed. This should be the end of the story. For a moment, it is. Balaam dutifully informs Balak's messengers that they should return to their land, for God has spoken and forbidden Balaam to go. The king of Moab, however, is displeased with this reply and sends back greater and more numerous emissaries with greater and more fabulous rewards to fetch Balak so that he might curse the children of Israel. Again, Balaam greets them cordially, tells them he can only do what God tells him to do. Stay the night, and we'll see what God says. This time, God relents. Fine, you can go with them, but be careful. Say only what I tell you to say when you are there. Pleased with this response, Balaam sets out on the road to Moab in service of Balak, the Moabite king. And here's the part where the talking cookie becomes the lesson of the Torah. Along the way, Balaam encounters an angel who stands before him, sword in hand, ready to destroy him for disobeying God's first command not to go to Moab. Balaam, the great seer, does not see the angel standing directly in his path, but the donkey he is riding on does, and she swerves to avoid the danger. Balaam beats the donkey with a stick to return her to the path. But this happens again and again a third time, until the donkey lays down on the path in fear, despite all the blows which Balaam rains down upon her for embarrassing him for her disobedience. Finally, Balaam's donkey turns to him and speaks her mind, asking why he's beating her when she's ever disobeyed him in this way before. Still blind to the fact that there's an angel standing in their way with a sword outstretched, and deaf to the miracle that his donkey is talking back to him for the cruelty of his treatment, Balaam yells at the donkey, Would that I had a sword in my hand, and I would slay you for your disobedience. Only then are Balaam's eyes opened, and he sees the angel of God, whose sword is threatening his life. Now, the Torah is not a children's joke, and animals don't talk. But how does the talking donkey not strike Balaam as more than a little bit odd? How does he not see this great miracle as a sign from God that he should change the direction of his life and do it now? In the end of the story, the great seer Balaam does come to see, and instead of cursing the children of Israel as Balak has required of him, he blesses them instead. And the story of the talking donkey lives on as a lesson on how easy it is not to see what we don't want to see. So what is it that we don't want to see? Well, what if I were to tell the joke this way? So there's these two cookies, and they're baking in the sun. They're just laying back on their pool chairs, soaking up the rays, and one cookie says to the other cookie, "Hey, it's really getting hot out here. Do you realize that 8 of the 10 hottest years on record have occurred in the past 10 years? And the other cookie went, we're baking and we're not even in an oven. Climate change is real, and it's urgent. Any continued debate on whether this is a human-made phenomenon misses the point entirely. The Earth is talking to us, and, well, planets don't usually speak to us in such clear and unequivocal terms. We need to do more than just re-enter the Paris Climate Accords. We need to do more than presidential executive orders repealing the reversal of environmental regulations over the past 10 years. We need to do more. We need to pass legislation funding desperately needed infrastructure projects for green energy and green jobs and 21st century mass transportation and electric vehicles and rebuilding our fragile and inefficient electric grid. We need to do more, and we need to do it now. The Earth is talking, and it's time for us to listen. Let us say Amen.
While we think on that, our anthem is Sim Shalom, a prayer for peace. Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. שים שלום טובה וברכה שים שלום טובה
We continue with the Aleinu. You can find the words on page 283. Please rise. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. Please be seated. We turn to page 287 as we read together. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech. May we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Page 289. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows, it's radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down in gutters. There's an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. This week in our congregation, we remember particularly the names of John A. Danello, Shirley Tanchester Reese, Leon Hirsch, Hilda Present, Eva Levy, Annalie Jaffe, Jerome Lawrence Markovitz, Regina Markovitz, Charles Strike, Molly Taslet, Francine Nadowitz, Ruth Weinstock, Annette Liebman, Eleanor Young, Thomas Esri, J.I. Essig, Ethel Hendler, Milton Matlow, Greta Schwartz, Libby Weniker, Saul H. Becker, Maurice Coleman Ziegler, Annette S. Ziegler, William A. Plank, Kurt Norton, Doris Lansky, Jerome Kaufman, Martin Berg, Fred Hamill, and Bernard Cohen. Zichronam livracha. May all their memories be for blessing as we rise on page 294 for the Kaddish. Yid Gadal v'Yid Kadash Shemei Rabba, Balma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chaychon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Bagala v'izman kariv d'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mavorach Le'olam Ulmei Olmaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitba'al, Yitromam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shmei Dekudisha, Barichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Uya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comforting all who are bereaved, and let us all say together, Amen.
Amen.
Our closing song is Oseh Shalom, the last 3 lines of the Kaddish. Please join us.
Oseh Shalom, Dimromav, Uya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru, Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Uya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Uya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Uya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, Amen.
Oseh Shalom bimromav. God, help us to be makers of peace here on earth as you make peace in the heavens above. May we build here on earth a world of justice, wholeness, and holiness for us all. And may together we be the builders of a world of peace. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yikunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God grant all of you the blessings of peace.
Amen. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Please join us in the Oneg Shabbat.